First, I need you to tell me your name and where is home and what do you guys do?
Okay, so my name is Mike Miles. I live in Luck, Wisconsin, which is in northwest Wisconsin, just across the border from kind of Minneapolis, St. Paul. We're like 85 miles from downtown Minneapolis.
Thank you.
And we have this. We're doing this thing called the Anathoth Community Farm. We've been up there for 26 years, and it's evolved over the years. And then most recently,
how big is the farm?
It's just 57 acres.
Wow.
So it's I think a farm of the kind of scale where farming's going to have to go in the future. I mean, I'm convinced at some point they're going to have some kind of new Homestead Act where they're going to have it's not going to be 40 acres and a mule, but it'll be like the modern day equivalent of 40 acres and a mule, and they're going to bust these giant farms into
60 acres in a biodiesel tractor with a bucket.
Yeah, something like that. That's what it's going to be.
So I heard something about carbon reduction. What are you guys doing about that?
Well, I met this guy named Jake Olson, who has his fingers in everything.
Who's sitting right next to us here?
Yeah, and he turned me on to this TED Talk by a guy named Alan Savory, who's this ecologist and he's a British guy, grew up in Africa. Started. His passion was native animals to Africa. So he started setting up parks, national parks and stuff, and how to get wild animals protected. And part of that is protecting the environment. And the process of desertification is going on all over the planet right now. So it's like, how do you have all these animals in a park and not have it be destroyed by grazing and stuff? And he really didn't like cattle because he thought that cattle were the enemy.
Yeah.
From the native guys that were, and they probably weren't. They were probably overgrazing and stuff. But the essence of this talk was that the problem that he tried to solve could be solved by mimicking migration of herbivores. Like before, they just couldn't go around and do their thing.
The rotation.
The natural, like we eat here, we move on. Predators are trying to peel us off from the sides, so we clump together. And when we're clumping together, we're eating down all of the parts of the grass that need to disappear, so the sun can hit the ground and the roots and have it all start over again. And while we're doing that, we're like making little footprints, and water can penetrate in the ground, and we're pooping and peeing all over the place.
So what's the strategy?
The strategy, this guy here, it's a 22-minute TED Talk that everybody has to see. And the strategy is doing managed rotational grazing to turn desert back into grassland.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is that the problem is stocking density. So like you think about what's happening out west with the cattle that are being ranged out there on government land like BLM land and things like that. It's all being destroyed, but it's not because there's too many cattle. It's because there's not enough. And they're not mimicking the migrational patterns of like the buffalo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he's turning everything on its head.
And it's so counterintuitive, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And my favorite first question that someone puts to him is like, okay, so you've just increased the size of the herd in this desert by 400%. What do they eat when you first start out? And he goes, well, it's a sigmoid curve. It's like, what do you mean? You can't feed cattle a sigmoid curve? Yeah, you do. So it's pretty thought out, and when you see the before and after pictures of these places in Africa and Mexico and the U.S.
So just for the good of everybody else, tell us the name of the book.
It's a TED Talk.
It's a TED Talk. But he also wrote a book.
Yes.
Holistic management.
So you can find it on YouTube or something like that?
Yeah. You can find it on YouTube. Alan Savory.
Alan Savory, okay.
And everybody has to see.
Cool.
Everybody has to see. He's convinced that the only way to save the planet right now is mob grazing cattle in the desert.
things.
Wow.
Because we got to get rid of all this carbon. It doesn't matter if we cut back on emissions. It doesn't matter if we do everything right. There's enough carbon that we just got to get rid of it, and the only way to do it is to mob graze cattle.
It's grass.
It's grass. It's grass.
Wow.
It's way faster than forest.